Hey, everybody that's watching. Hey, y'all. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was actually lighting my fire and trying to collect these links to show y'all what needs to be shown. So, thanks for bearing with me while I'm late. Also, while I was getting everything, I was also listening to Queen's reading on Diddy and how Kim Porter wanted to be heard during that reading, but I'm just waiting a little bit longer I'm going to wait a couple more minutes for people to come in and get the link and come over here, and then we're going to get started. Cece, is interesting that you said you're about to shower and cook because I'm eating some soup from Olive Garden. The one that the recipe is going viral, the creamy soup that has kale, potatoes and sausage in it. I don't know what they call it, but I forgot what they call it because I'm not on the website anymore, but it's a really good soup. Hey, Chrissy, how are you? Oh, you said you just hit the link and out. Carmelie Mel, that's funny because I ordered this yesterday. I had some of my sisters come over and they brought their kids, and I just ordered Olive Garden, and we had kind of like a family dinner. My mom came over with one of my older sisters. So Ella, yep, Zuppa Toscana. Yep, that's what I'm having, Zuppa Toscana. The sausage gives it a really good flavor. Like the sausage is kind of one of the things that flavors it. Without the sausage, it wouldn't have much flavor, but you can always sub like turkey sausage or chicken sausage. Like you don't have to have Italian sausage. Yeah, you don't have to have Italian sausage. Like there are people making it, and you can really put whatever sausage you want in it, but know that the sausage is the flavor. It really is. The sausage is most of the flavor in there. Because other than that, it appears to just be kale and potatoes and some cream-based, it's a cream-based soup, but it's actually really good. It's very good. And I usually just like the chicken and gnocchi, but this soup I think is now the Zuppa Toscana or Tuscan soup or whatever. This one I think is probably my favorite. I put a little bit of garlic salt in mine for a little additional flavor, but it really is good. Yep, you can do vegan sausage too. You can absolutely do vegan sausage. It's really good. It is a really good soup. I'm gonna make it. But I feel like these days with the prices being so high, making it is literally like buying it. You might as well just go buy it from Instagram. It just seems like it would be cheaper if you just go buy it. But let me look, some of these links Instagram is deleting. Like some of the links are being deleted from this Slim Thug because Slim Thug had a lot to say. I do want to talk briefly about okay, because black men, they listen, black men's cat, their tongue, a cat got their tongue, obviously. When this information first came down, black men were silent. They were silent. They ain't silent now. I had a lot of links that I want to get out so we can go over. A lot of them are Slim Thug links because Slim Thug has been very vocal. Peter Guns and Richie Dallas came out. Slim Thug is getting dragged. I want y'all to understand. We're also going to go to Twitter, and we're going to look at some what's going on on Twitter in real time. There's Young Jock is out here unapologetically talking about Diddy and what Diddy been doing. And my question is, like, I'm literally on some, when can we actually have an honest discussion about how Black men prey on the community? Let me just put Cassie in here really quickly, because I'm sure it's trending. If rest in peace is trending, I'm kind of feeling like, I'm really just feeling like if rest in peace is trending, that's probably got a lot to do with this Cassie situation, because this is, like I said in the first video, it's going to have a domino effect. Number one is going to have a domino effect, and there's going to be more men, well, more people coming out. TMZ had some pictures taken of Diddy since he settled so quickly. So we're going to start. I really want to say something, because y'all already know Black men are only focused largely on their predation of the community, nothing more, nothing less. They're simply not interested in bettering the community. And I think one of the biggest issues with this, aside from them being unwilling to change their devilish ways, I think for the Black women who apply, which is in the majority, because we have to understand with this reckoning, the reckoning isn't really reaching the majority of Black women. Now, I won't say that it won't ever reach the majority of Black women. Maybe it is reaching more Black women than we think, and Black women are doing what they do, which is turn a blind eye. But I think one of the biggest issues here is Black women's refusal to acknowledge and accept who these bandits are and act accordingly. This is not to blame Black women for their behavior, because once you become an adult, once you become aware of personal autonomy and the fact that you're not under the instruction of your parents anymore, regardless to how you were brought up, regardless to what was instilled in you, we live in a society where, let's be honest, everybody is policing the mentality and the behavior of Black people. The mainstream media, when they're not focusing on war and terrorism, they're focusing heavily on the behavior of Black men specifically. So there isn't a Black man out here who can really say that they don't know how they're supposed to act, regardless to what household you was brought up in. If you are Black, because you have always been managed by another community, you know very well how you're supposed to conduct yourself in society. We know this because Black women grow up in the same homes. So I'm just not going to entertain any notion that somehow Black men are confused. Black men don't know how they're supposed to conduct themselves. Sorry, y'all, that popping is my fireplace, just so y'all know. Hold on, I gotta get my phone charger, because my phone be dying. And I be seeing people going live from their phones, and I just be wondering why, like, their live streams be cutting out, and they be like, oh, my battery just died. Like, why wouldn't you charge your phone if you already know you're about to go live on it? Why wouldn't you wait until you're on a full battery? Especially if you're live streaming through your phone. But anyway, to me, there isn't a Black person who can honestly say they don't. Like, that they don't have a clue as to how they're supposed to act. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do, because you're not going to say in one breath that your behavior has been targeted for scrutinization and propaganda, but then say that you don't know. Yeah, I got Paula J on here. Trust and believe. I have her on here too. I do. I have her on here too. I got to pull up her stuff too, because I was trying to figure out who this Paula J. Parker was, right? because I was like, the name sounds familiar to me, but I was like, the name sounds familiar to me. It really did. It sounded very familiar to me. And it sounded familiar to me because somebody had sent me a video on Paula J. Parker and how she was homeless with a struggle bandit who wasn't able to provide for her or himself because Paula J. Parker decided, apparently, she said in Hollywood, there's cliques. So these relationships that you see, especially marriages for the most part, are arranged. In Hollywood, certain celebrities are not marrying people that they want to marry necessarily. They're marrying who they're told to marry. Paula J. Parker, she was told to, I'll get into this when we get into the part about her, which is coming up, but I don't want to lose my train of thought with this black man situation. We're going to get into Paula J. I have her tweets and I have her pathology on lock. And there was something worshiping about it to me. And I was like, okay, this lady sounds like a black male worshiper. And then when I found out why her name was familiar to me, it all made sense. But we'll get into it. The issue here is that black women, because really black women are who matters in the community. Black women may be under the impression that black men are the most important and they matter the most to everybody outside of the black community. Black women's opinion is really the only thing that matters. Everybody else already know black men are a lost cause. They don't contribute to anything. So the reality is, black women are really the only ones who matter in the community. And we need to move in our community. We need to move as if black women's opinion is the only thing that matters. Because to society, even as it applies to black men, our opinion is the only thing that matters. The laws ain't getting changed because of black men's opinion. Laws were getting changed because of black women. This whole stop and frisk situation, mass incarceration, none of that is being looked at or focused on because of black men. It's because of what black women are doing. So within the black community, to people outside of it, the only people who matter is black women, okay? But when black women refuse to acknowledge and accept who black men are and tell it to their daughters, caution their daughters about it, this is why you have this cycle repeating. Because we've been so focused on talking about how white men hate the black community, we have not focused on how black men hate and destroy the black community, because they're doing it more. They're doing it more. If you look at all of the data sources and see who's really preying on the black community, it's not white men. It's not Asian men. It's not Hispanic men. It's not black women. It's not white women. It's not Asian women. It's not Hispanic women. It's black men. All of the data says the people who are oppressing you the most are black males. All of the data says the people who are plaguing your community with violence are black males. The ones who are impregnating you, burdening you with children to raise on their own, which I believe is strategic and purposeful, those are being done by black men. There's no large amounts of white men who are impregnating black women and leaving them single mothers. We know that there are some black male worshipers who have attempted to suggest that white men are the ones who are leaving black women, these single mothers, to these biracial children. But we know the truth. We already know the truth. We know because we can look at reports from when Daniel Patrick Moynihan tried to tell us that the problem in your community is these antisocial personality having men. These are the problem in your community. But since we're trained to look at white men as the culprit of everything in the community, we're leaving the entire community extremely vulnerable, especially the females. Bandits benefit from abandoning their children, because if girls are abandoned, then who's giving them knowledge on how to spot predators? Fathers are supposed to do that. Fathers are supposed to guide you and direct you towards men that you're supposed to avoid and men that you should gravitate towards. So when Black men systematically, because it's a system at this point, they are systematically impregnating you and leaving you single mothers. They are doing so because they benefit from the outcome of that. They benefit heavily. They benefit from girls growing up without fathers. They benefit from boys growing up without fathers, because both of them lead to the community dynamic where the women, specifically females, become prey. And the females in this community are prey. The reason I'm saying female is because girls are not women. That's the reason I'm saying females, because it covers Black women and Black girls. So I want y'all to understand why I'm saying females, not because I'm trying to insult or relate you to an animal or dehumanize you. It's because it covers women and girls, and women and girls are not women. So that's why I'm saying that. But we know both Black women and Black girls are prey in the Black community. And the bandits that we're giving birth to are doing the prey. We're seeing the results of their predation. When we talk about Cassie's lawsuit is the results of a Black man's predation, okay? What Bill Cosby is going through, and I'm saying Bill Cosby because Slim Thug was also talking about Bill Cosby. His situation is the result of his own predation at the end of the day. Bandits are not going to be in the home to raise effective males because, number one, they are not effective males. But even if they were to do that, it would hinder their ability to prey on the community. If Black girls have their Black fathers at home advising them on which men to be around and which men to avoid, that would make it difficult for bandits to prey on them in the community, because they would already be equipped with the knowledge. They would already know, okay, these are the characteristics of a male that I should avoid. So the bottom line of it is they have a vested interest in the dysfunction in this community. They are the sole beneficiaries of it. It makes it easier for them. It puts Black women in a state of low self-esteem. They know that if they abandon their children, they're not going to be blamed for it. Black men are not accountable for abandoning their children. They know the women are going to blame themselves. They're not going to blame Black men. They will blame white men before they blame a Black man for abandoning his own children. And that's a problem, because the only ones who are responsible for men abandoning their community within this community is the men who are abandoning their children. It just is what it is. Nobody is responsible for that. But they know that when a Black woman gets up and talks about being a single mother, they already know the community is about to blame her. They're not going to blame that man. So why wouldn't you continue to create children, burden the women, know that the girls are going to be raised very naive to look outside the community? They're not going to ever have accountability for it. You will blame yourself before you blame them. So why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Nancy at night said they have no shame about abandoning their children. Why would they? Who shames them? Who within the community, where in the Black community would a Black man face shame for abandoning his children? We know there's no shame, because all they will do is sit up and say, well, you knew you was picking an ain't shit dude. You knew that man wasn't going to take care of his kids. You chose him. Well, you didn't get an abortion, so you chose to be a single mother. You knew that man wasn't going to take care of his kid. Literally, they're begging you to profile them, and you refuse to do it. Because the only way you would know that a man is going to abandon his children is if number one, he tells you, or if number two, you build a profile on in the black community of the men who are most likely to abandon their children, and that's just going to be because they're black. So they're begging you to profile them, but you won't do it. You won't do it. You won't profile them. You won't tell your daughters that being with black men is a high risk community to be in. They are a very high risk group of men. And I'm not talking about the sexual high risk of getting a disease. I'm saying you're at a high risk of a whole bunch of problems just by dating them, just by being in relationships with them. They're a high risk group, but we're not telling young black girls. There is zero black household in which a mother is telling, even though the mother is a victim of their high risk relationships with these males, even if the mother is a victim of his predation, she's still not going to tell her daughter that this is a high risk group of men. They are predators. They will look for your weaknesses that they've created. They're going to prey on it, and then they're going to mind fuck you by telling you that it's your fault. Black mothers are not warning their daughters about the enemy within the community because you've been trained to talk about what white men are doing. White men ain't even concerned about black men at this point. They're already neutralized. Like, bandits are not a threat. They're not a threat to anybody. Who are they a threat to? Nobody. So the world's most cowardly males who have been dominated by everybody is somehow a threat to somebody? Please make it make sense. They're no threat to nobody. They're no threat to nobody. But the reality of it is, it's not a standard practice for black women to warn their daughters about how high the risk is when you choose one of these bandits. We don't have any community education on how problematic the males are. We don't. It's not a part of our culture to talk about problematic black men. It's not. In fact, the culture is trying to convince you that most black men are good, even though the statistics say the exact opposite. So black women are literally ignoring the data, ignoring reality, ignoring the conditions and circumstances that they've been put in, and ignoring what these bandits are doing to the community and saying that most of them are good, even though there's absolutely no evidence. All evidence says the exact opposite of that. All data and statistics, every single piece of data and statistic that is relevant says that the majority of your community, the male part of it, is made up of bandits. It tells you that the majority of them is preying on the community, that the majority of them are the problem, and that is why you have a community looking the way that it do. If black women are going to continue to choose to give birth to these males, when you really have no obligation of doing so, you just think that you do. But even if you are going to give birth to these males, why aren't you warning your daughters on how high of a risk it is to be in relationships with them? You can best believe when I have a daughter, you can best believe she will be educated on how high of a risk it is to be with these bandits. I couldn't care less who her daddy is. She's gonna know. She will know. My nieces will know how high of a risk it is, because you know why? If they mama don't tell them, they auntie go tell her. And even if I have to use their mother as an example, meaning even if I have to use my sister as an example of how high of a risk dealing with these dudes were, even if I have to use myself, she will know. They will know. My nieces are not going to walk into the community as prey. They're not. They will be educated. Now, what they choose to do with the education is ultimately going to be on them, but they will have the education. They will have it. They will absolutely have it. They're not going to be sitting up here thinking that the biggest threat is somebody outside of their community when the community shows that your biggest threat is the men within it. Refusing to protect the community because they want the community to be vulnerable. Chrissy said, period, because my sister did not tell my niece, so I did. Exactly. And if my sisters choose to ignore reality, then I'm going to tell their daughters exactly what's going on. But they will know. They absolutely will know. And because this pathology is so prevalent in these bandits, literally both my sisters who have the daughters can be used as an example of how high risk it is. Do you want to end up in a situation that your mom was in? Absolutely not. So think twice before you choose to be with these bandits. And if you be with them, protect yourself, because you're going to need it. You're going to need physical protection. You're going to need mental protection. You're going to need emotional protection. You're going to need psychological protection if you choose to deal with these males. At the end of the day. Because my mom wasn't able to warn us. Like, we walked out into the dating scene completely blind. This is why I'm saying I had to learn everything by trial and error, because who's teaching it? Like, who's teaching you the reality of these males? Did I have a certain mindset about Black men before I started dating them? Yeah, it was a naive one, and my psychology was shocked because of the experiences that I was having with them that was very different than what I was told. I didn't meet wounded warriors who had integrity, who were just being oppressed. I met up against predators. Predators who had been miles ahead of me, even though they were the same age most of the time. I met up with men who were already, before I even lost my virginity, they had already ran through and destroyed multiple Black women. And some of them white women too. They had already been in their pattern of preying on the community before I even entered into the dating scene. And it's because nobody told me that they hate the women who give birth to them. Nobody told me that they had been abandoning their children. I was under the impression that welfare put them out the home. I didn't learn that that was a lie until I read the Moynihan report. Then I realized that that was a lie in our community, and that these bandits didn't fight to get back in the home. A Black woman fought for them to get back in the home. But they were never put out the home because, oh yeah, welfare doesn't actually put anybody out the home. It terminates benefits of those who don't qualify. So bandits had every opportunity to step up to the plate and be providers if they wanted to, because welfare, even when they were doing home checks, there's not one of them that went near and put no man out the home. Instead, they would tell the mother, you don't qualify, you got a man here. Then they would mail them a letter letting them know your benefits are being terminated because you have a man there who should be providing. Whether he's providing or not does not matter. The way that welfare saw it is, if you have an able-bodied man in there, through logic, because that's how it should be, if you have an able-bodied man staying up in your home, laying in your bed with you, he should probably be providing. That's what welfare said. If an able-bodied man is in the home, he should be working, he should be providing. Even if the children are not his, he should be doing something. The man out of the home rule was actually called the stepfather clause. They saw the men that would be laying up in your home, they saw them as a stepfather, which is what they should have been doing. Because shouldn't no Black man, shouldn't no man have access to you and he know your situation and he ain't doing nothing about it? So he should be being the provider. But instead, a Black woman wanted to lay up with a bandit who wasn't taking care of his children and who was actually cheating on his wife, who he shared 9 kids with. So this Black woman wanted to be the side chick to this derelict bandit who wasn't even providing for his family. She got cut off of welfare, so she decided to go to the Supreme Court and get the man out of the home rule thrown out so that she could have this bandit who ain't even providing for his family come lay up in her bed without providing anything to her. That is what she wanted. She wanted this bandit to be able to lay up in her bed with her. So she went to the Supreme Court and was successful. She was successful. Bandits are still saying welfare took them out the home. Black women are still believing it. Why? Because they telling you that they were put out the home. You know, in 2023, ain't nobody putting them out the home. You know, there's no piece of legislation that says he can't be in the home. They ain't tell, but black men don't even tell you in 2023 why they ain't in a home, even if you ask them. Even if you ask them, they can't give you a legitimate reason as to why they ain't in the home in 2023. Why they ain't in your home, they not in Becky's home, they not in Maria's home, they not in Ling Ling's home, even though those women have their children in those homes. So when I saw bandits being extremely silent on this issue of Diddy, I was like, oh, okay. Some black male degeneracy got exposed, and now the cat suddenly got these bandits' tongues. Cat got their tongue now. Now they ain't got nothing to say. If y'all was over there when Themis was live reading off the entire lawsuit, then you would have saw me put a comment in the comment section saying, notice how black men are silent on this. I said, why are they so silent on this? And the reason why they were so silent is because they are just as degenerate. They are. They're just as degenerate at the end of the day. If there's a lot of bandits who, to the degree that they can in the community, they are doing what P. Diddy was accused of doing. They're doing it. They may not have the ability to do it to the extent, but they doing it. They doing it. They're preying on women. They're lying to women. They want young girls so that they can manipulate and abuse them, just like Diddy did with Cassie. So of course they ain't gonna speak on it. But now, after Diddy done settled within 24 hours, which screams, one, I saw this coming, and number two, I ain't got no leg to stand on. His attorney can say whatever he wants to say. And the attorney did come out and speak too. But the attorney can talk about how this isn't an admission of guilt. I'm about to read y'all what the attorney said right now. It said, just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. It is when you do it within 24 hours. I don't know who Diddy's attorney think he's fooling, but in 2023, when you settle a lawsuit, the magnitude of $30 million in 24 hours, I don't know what world you living in, Ben Braffman, I don't know what world you in, but show me the cases that was, show me the $30 million lawsuits that got settled in 24 hours. It don't matter what year it is. It really don't matter what year it is. It could be 2020, it could be 2019, it could be 1990. When you settle a $30 million lawsuit, in 24 hours, you are admitting to wrongdoing. You are. You are. It says, Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat out denial of the claims. It does exactly that. So this is a delusional attorney. Him settling within 24 hours absolutely undermines his denial of the claims. It undermines it. And if him settling didn't undermine it, the knowledge that he offered her money without her even filing a lawsuit undermines his denials of any wrongdoing. The man basically just told y'all, I'm guilty as hell, and that's why we didn't even have to step into a courtroom in order for this to be settled. Mind you, and I'm gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure all of these 10, 20, 30 million, yeah, they going to court. They at least going through discovery. Like, just like Themis said, you at least going through discovery, because they want to pick apart that accuser. They want to make that accuser seem like they're not credible. I would venture to say at least the majority of lawsuits that are 20, 30 million, they're at least going to discovery. P. Diddy said, I don't even want to take this to discovery. I don't want to contest it. Here, I'm going to just go settle for it. Let me write her a check. And when you do that within 24 hours, that is an admission of guilt. His attorney is delusional and can be in La La Land if he want to, but ain't nobody else there with him. It's like, you could be delusional. You can. It's like, you can go ahead and be delusional. You can say that this is not an admission of guilt. You can be in La La Land as much as you want to. You there by your damn self. P. Diddy ain't even in La La Land with his attorney. You can best believe P. Diddy knows that when you settle a lawsuit like this, within 24 hours, oh, you admitting to guilt. You don't have a leg to stand on, not one. P. Diddy didn't even have an artificial leg to stand on. And especially when he saw all of those people coming out corroborating her story, like, yep, I saw him do it too. He knew that even if he did have a leg to stand on, it broke. The little bit of leg that you might have had to stand on, which would have came out during discovery, oh, it broke. It broke. Soon as people came out and corroborated her story, you didn't have a chance of winning that, and you knew you didn't. And you were anticipating it anyway. So you shouldn't have even had your attorney come out looking like a damn fool, talking about this is a money shakedown, when you knew that you offered her money without her even having to file a lawsuit. And clearly there was proof that you offered her money. So you knew damn well there wasn't any way you was getting out of this. You knew you wasn't getting out of this, but you definitely knew you wasn't when too many people came out and corroborated her story, and she didn't even have to ask them to. She didn't even have to ask him to. He said he is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Miss Ventura the best. No, he don't. Like, he probably wish he would have set her up to be toe tagged. Y'all know he do. He probably wish he would have silenced this woman or made it where she could never speak on him. You know he's regretting it. You know he regretting. He probably like, I should have been had somebody deal with her. But that would be hard to do. That would be hard to do when she switched up and she ain't dating within your community no more. Because now that she tied to that man of no color and she just had this lawsuit, bet not nothing happened to Cassie. P. Diddy knows bet not nothing happened to Cassie. Even if you try to do something 10 years down the road, if something happened to Cassie, if she break a toenail, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. And people going to be like, oh, P. Diddy had 30 million reasons. Because NDAs do not apply when it comes to criminal behavior. So even though Cassie signed an NDA, you can best believe all settlements come with an NDA. I don't know if anybody settled any lawsuits. They all come with NDAs. NDAs does not apply to commission of crimes. So Cassie can still open her mouth if she wants to. If she want to report on some crimes that she saw P. Diddy engage in, oh, an NDA ain't about to cover that. You don't get to cover yourself from criminal behavior by way of an NDA, or everybody will be using them. So at the end of the day, Cassie can still open her mouth. She can still open her mouth. And he still got reasons to do something to harm her because, like I said, NDAs don't cover crime. NDAs don't cover crime. So, with all of the knowledge that Cassie has on Diddy, she's a big threat to him. Let me tell you, as long as this woman is alive, P. Diddy ain't getting no rest. That I promise you. I promise you that. As long as Cassie is alive, P. Diddy ain't about to get no rest. Ain't no rest for the wicked. Because now you got somebody who, like I told y'all in the video, Cassie know where the bodies are buried. She knows you ain't gonna be in a 10-year plus relationship with a celebrity on the magnitude of Diddy, and you don't have some knowledge of where his disgusting deeds would lead to. So she knows. And she can talk if she wants to. They can try to cover it with an NDA again. If any of what she has to say is about a crime, you can try to go sue her on grounds of an NDA and you will lose. You will lose. The word and the secret is out. So like I said, if Cassie even stubbed a toe, it's a problem for P. Diddy. Let Cassie end up in the hospital and watch it be linked to P. Diddy, even if she have pneumonia, even if she go to the hospital because she got pneumonia. Oh, headlines can say Cassie in the hospital. Bet you everybody go say Diddy had something to do with it. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, if Cassie goes into the hospital for any reason, soon as it's announced, Diddy is going to be named as the culprit, even if she got a cold. The media better quickly put out there, oh, yeah, she's just in the hospital for flu, because if she ain't, everybody's going to tie it to Diddy. Everybody is going to tie it to Diddy. But you can best believe when TMZ, because look, TMZ basically came out. Where's my link? I'm going to tell y'all why Diddy in distress because of what I just said. Diddy's hand is in his hands right here because of what I just said. Because he can't rest as long as she alive, and there's nothing he can do to silence her because NDAs don't cover the commission of crime. In fact, if Cassie knows that Diddy committed some crimes, she actually had a legal obligation to report them. Her best bet would be to act like she don't even know. That's why he over here putting his hands in his head, because he already know what's coming. He know what's coming down the pipeline too. Diddy ain't dumb, okay? We can think that he is. We can say that he's a predator. We can say he's degenerate. We can say whatever we want to say. He ain't dumb. He ain't dumb. These are some additional pictures that look. What does this picture say to him? To y'all, he on the phone like, no, we got to find out. More stuff is gonna come out. More stuff. He looked like he's in a state of panic. Is what Diddy looks like he is. Like this man is, I'm telling y'all, he ain't getting no rest. He ain't getting no rest. He will not get no rest as long as this woman is living and breathing. Now, apparently Diddy was obsessed with control. We know that. We know Diddy was obsessed with control. He ain't in control now, not of this situation. Diddy don't got no control of this situation, and he won't. Like, look at him. He looked extremely stressed. Like he's in a state of distress. You know he is. Like he don't even know what's coming next. They probably searching social media is what they probably doing. They probably on here like, well, what they saying on social media. Like just look into what they saying on social. He know what's up. He knows exactly what's up. Okay. So these are photos of Diddy out. Diddy was outside. I want to come on here and look, because one thing that bandits are going to do, they go defend some degeneracy of another bandit. Look, they may not unite for any cause that makes sense or any type of positive progression in the community, but they will unite to go against Black women. They will unify to convince the world that you are the problem. They'll unify to tear up your image and degrade your image publicly. Oh, they'll do that. Somebody say he thinking about them consequences. They'll do that. They'll unify against you in a hot minute, but unify to progress the community? Absolutely not. They have no interest in that. And anybody who thinks that they won't unify against Black women, I don't know how. They do it by osmosis. Soon as a bandit come out. For example, how many of y'all saw Black men really paying attention to Yeah, his world is still going to come crashing down as it should. It is. That's exactly what's going to happen to it. It's going to come crashing down, period. This is Pandora's box that's been open for him. But I want to give y'all an example of how by osmosis these bandits choose to unify against you. Because by unifying and going against Megan Thee Stallion or any Black woman, really, they're setting a stance. They're letting you know where they stand. Black women don't pay attention to this. By them supporting Tory Lanez, who they were ignoring, Tory Lanez was like, Tory Lanez didn't have a bunch of these prison bays running around advocating for him. He didn't have them. Put a 1 in the chat box if y'all saw prior to this Megan Thee Stallion situation. Put a 1 in the chat box if you saw any of these Black men rallying for Tory Lanez. Because I didn't even see Tory Lanez as really doing anything or being relevant. Like Tory Lanez wasn't relevant prior to him shooting at Megan Thee Stallion. They weren't. Yeah, that's my point. That is my point, Timmy Akimbo. That is my point. That is my point. Tory Lanez was relatively irrelevant before he shot Megan without hearing anything. Bandits didn't even need to know the details, and they were defending him. Just like that, they unified. They unified like a dusty transformer. They assembled, okay? They went from that beat up yellow car, they assembled into Bumblebee and said, where's he at? Let's go defend him. He shot a Black woman? Oh, no. Okay, well, no, he ain't wrong. He's innocent, free Tory. Without even hearing anything. And then when they did hear the details, we going to court. I can't wait till we going to court. They were acting like this is their trial. They couldn't care right. He ain't even FBA. And they jumped on him. This is a dude from outside and he from Canada. Yep, they assemble like a dusty Megatron. Like the dusty bandit version of Megatron. I said Bumblebee because Bumblebee was the lesser one. Bumblebee had no voice. Bumblebee was seen as dumb. Like Bumblebee was childlike. So really, they're not on Megatron's level. They're more like a Bumblebee. They are. They're more like a Bumblebee. They are nowhere near Megatron's level. They're not. They're not as organized or as smart as Megatron, nor do they possess the leadership qualities of Megatron. No. Absolutely not. These bandits don't get to, they don't deserve to be called Megatron. Dusttron, yes. Dustytron. They could be Dustytron. They can absolutely be Dustytron, but Megatron, no, absolutely not. They would never make it to the levels of Megatron, unfortunately. So we'll call them Dustytron, okay? But they assembled, they unified very quickly. Nobody told them to. Mind you, they didn't send a Dusty PSA out and say all Dustytrons assemble. No, they didn't. They didn't say that. The Dusttron formed on its own. It formed on its own because whenever something happened to you as a Black woman, they gonna do whatever they can. They gonna do whatever they can to show you where they stand and that they support any form of harm going towards you. They support any form. It don't matter who it is or what happened. You were always in the wrong and free Tory Lanez. Okay, because they were all of them now. All of a sudden, they're these civil rights attorneys who advocate for the wrongly accused. Apparently now there's all of them. They're just attorneys. He was wrongly, they don't even know what happened in the case. They don't even know what happened in the case. Like that dumb bandit on Themis is talking about, she got alimony. I don't. It's like, is this bandit calling alimony, immunity alimony? So bandit, you don't know that one starts with an A and the other starts with an I. One is the longer word that means something completely different. Alimony is money. Immunity means you ain't getting no crime committed. So this, you ain't getting punished. You got blanket protection from prosecution. So bottom line is, Bandit was up on Themis's channel. He had been so-called a victim of gun violence by a Black man himself, okay? And if I knew the minute mark, I would let y'all hear it. This bandit was on Themis's broadcast, supposedly a victim of some gun violence from Black men, mind you, but still sat up there, still said, I don't believe Toy did nothing. I don't believe Toy did nothing. Don't even know the difference between alimony and immunity. Don't even know it. But he knows that Megan was wrong in Free Tory Lanez. So, yeah, they don't listen. He don't need to know the difference between alimony and immunity. He don't even have to know how to pronounce it. He knows that you need to free Tory Lanez and that he didn't shoot Megan, although clearly the evidence said he shot Megan. He called and apologized for it, but none of that matter. Who cares? He can still be a victim of Black male violence. Nope, free Tory. Went up there to defend a degenerate bandit, but they always want to complain, oh, not me, all Black men ain't like that, all Black men, you can't blame all Black men. Okay, watch what they do when a situation happens, just like Slim Thug. But we about to get into Peter Guns first. First, let me find my thing on Peter Guns, and let me see. Yeah, we gonna listen to Peter Guns first.
You know Cassie, I met Cassie years ago.
Look, he can barely, like, these dudes are, I swear they're barely literate. Let me share the screen with y'all. Bandits are barely literate, but they know Diddy is innocent and Cassie is the problem, okay? They do know that. They do know that. Don't know nothing. Some of these people ain't mentioned Diddy's name and is scared of what Diddy will do to them too, but they know Cassie lying. They know Cassie lying. As surely as y'all said Cassie was part Black, they said, yep, Black woman, she lying. Free P. Diddy. What? Look, listen. They gonna start saying free P. Diddy, and P. Diddy ain't even in jail. They just like P. Diddy ain't even in jail. Why are you saying free P. Diddy? I guarantee you. Let me play it.
I don't know nothing about that stuff. I will say this. I do know Cassie.
Look, what did I tell y'all? They don't know nothing about nothing. And he telling you, I don't know nothing about that, but I do know Cassie lying. Okay? He do know that Cassie lying, though. Let's continue.
You know Cassie. I met Cassie years ago with my man Ryan Leslie. And not that I don't know Diddy, we just not friends like that. I don't know. I don't jump to judge. I don't know. Doesn't sound good though. Not a good look. I hope it's not true. You know what I mean? That's all you can hope for. I will hope that nobody would ever kind of go through that shit. True story. I might have done my shit, but I've never put my hands on it. Never, ever. I couldn't see. I mean, maybe I might have, women stand me up and shit. I might have grabbed her up back like, yo, don't hit me. But I never put my hands on a woman because this is a little intel. My mom and daddy's. Don't ask me nothing about Diddy. I don't know nothing about that stuff. I will say this. I do know Cassie.
Look, let me tell you, he's so afraid to even speak on Diddy. He too afraid to speak on Diddy, but he'll speak on Cassie though.
Sad on that. So I said I would never put my hands on her. Never did. I might have cheated once or twice, 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times. I mean, who's counting? But I never physically touched a woman in my life. Never will. To me, this childish shit. If you're the woman, straight up, that's how I look at it. Like, child, you know that person can't defend themselves, they can beat themselves. Well, I do. So I don't do it. Yes, you can, sir. I know I can, but I won't. Somebody said, boy, bye. Bitch, bye. How about that? I'm talking about, I ain't even lying. I'm keeping it a buck. Off my life with that shit. Drinking, fighting. I remember being a kid, being, fucked up and sad over that. So I said, I would never put my hands on it. Never did. I might have cheated once or twice.
Okay, sorry y'all. I had to put some wood in some more wood in the fireplace. But listen, didn't I tell y'all he don't gotta know P. Diddy, he don't gotta know no details of the case? But him saying, I hope it's not true, as he's sitting up there literally terrified to even speak on Diddy because he might not know Diddy, but he knows Diddy's reputation. He's basically saying, I hope this is just another case of a Black woman lying. That's what he's basically saying. I don't know. I don't know. P. Diddy, don't ask me about P. Diddy. Yeah, why? Because you know P. Diddy's reputation for being a goon. You worry that P. Diddy is gonna send somebody after you. DJ Academics act like he ain't. Let's get into Slim Thug because Slim Thug is being dragged. Okay. Slim Thug has been dragged by his bald head. Listen, he don't need to know nothing either. This is yet another man who don't need to know no details of the case. Didn't say nothing when the information just dropped, but he got a lot to say now. Now that Diddy done basically admitted to being guilty, now Slim Thug got a lot to say. Let's listen to it.
I don't agree with that coming back and getting Bill Cosby, coming back and getting Puff. I don't believe in it, man. When shit go down, speak on that shit right then, or it's out of it. It should be null and void. You shouldn't even have no type of nothing. You shouldn't be able to do shit unless you must let the people know what happened immediately. There should be a time limit on this shit. What happened was you got around them stand up on love shit. This is what happened. I'm gonna tell you what always happened, right? You was with a billionaire with all this bread all this time, and then you went followed your heart with a trainer. That much apartment got smiled in the bitch, that lifestyle fell off, now it's struggle time, the love wearing off, and now you trying to come up with ways to figure out how to get paid. Now I'm healed and I can talk about it. I don't agree with that coming back and getting Bill Cosby, coming back and getting.
I'm gonna play the next slide, but he's going the route of, oh, you just bitter. He's going the route of the bitter Black woman because he didn't love you and offer you love. You now coming out and making these allegations against him. This is what he's saying. He's presenting this as she's bitter. If y'all listen to this, because he started it out with, I don't believe in that stuff with that Bill Cosby. So he's a supporter of another man who was praying, whose predation led him to where he's at. It's Bill Cosby's admitted predation that landed him where he was at.
In my book. You did that. You participated. You ain't like for nothing. You did that. So I'm standing on that, man. Quit trying to expose people for money. Like, that apartment got small. You and that dude you left for love. You let your homegirls hype you up when you was with him. You let them homegirls hype you up, tell you, girl, he treating you bad. He cheating on you. He messing with them girls. Don't let him embarrass you like that. Exposed in my book. You did that.
So basically he's saying Diddy didn't do nothing wrong. He's saying Diddy didn't do nothing wrong. Cassie is just bitter because Diddy had other women. Because people got in her ear, she didn't know she was being mistreated, but then no doubt her black female friends got in her ear and told her that she was being mistreated. Look, he cheating on you. And then Cassie decided to come out over 10 years later and say, okay, well, now I'm a sue Diddy. Or 4 years later, because this is 4 years after, 4 years after she ain't even been with Diddy. She married, she got a kid, but she's still bitter because Diddy was rotating women when she was with him, despite the fact that this is a married woman with 2 kids. A woman who separated herself from him, but he's basically saying, well, you participated in him. You weren't made to do any of the stuff that he actually made you do as he was beating you and abusing you. You just lying and saying that because he was rotating other females. Because he was having sex with other women. So now you just saying it because you bitter.
You participated. You ain't saying for nothing. You did that. So I'm standing on that, man. Quit trying to expose people for money. Like, what the? Nah, that apartment got small. You and that dude you left for love. You let your homegirls hype you up when you was with him. You let them homegirls hype you up, tell you, girl, he treating you bad. He cheating on you. He messing with them girls. Don't let him embarrass you like that. Expose niggas in my book. You did that. You participated. Bill Cosby is not guilty of all that. They were getting high with him, having fun with him, turning up with him. When they went broke, they started trying to do all this. I ain't turning on my heroes over these old fake money grabs, man. Straight up like that. And letting make that go viral. I ain't turning on my heroes over these lame money grabs. Straight up like that. You ain't finna turn my heroes into motherfucking all this weight you turn people into trying to get some money. This is why women don't come forward. No, if somebody did something to you, women, come forward. Tell them then, though. You know what I'm saying? Tell them then. Or around that, go tell somebody you love. Tell your mama. Tell somebody, please. But when you waiting all this time and then you sue a nigga, you ain't go to the police, it sounds suspicious. Bill Cosby is not guilty of all that. It sounds fishy. Diddy is my hero. Get out of my. I'm talking about motherfucking Bill Cosby. I'm talking about black men who was successful. Yeah, I'm talking about who went got it from nothing. That's what I'm talking about. So you get off the groupie shit. You want to be a goofball. Yeah. Call the police if somebody did something to you, man. Call the police, man. Straight up.
But these are the males that black women think understand them more than any other male group. Like, for real. Like, you'll hear black women saying, oh, I can only be with a black man. He understand my plight as a black woman. He can relate to me. Yeah, this doesn't sound like a man who can relate to you. This doesn't sound like a man who thinks you have a plight. This isn't a man who empathizes with the high level of abuse that you're subjected to by men who look just like him in your community that you give birth to, that you lend your womb to so that they can have life. This is not what a man's mindset is when they're understanding and when they're empathetic of your plight. No, this is a man saying you don't have a plight, you lying, you going after good black men for money. That's what he's doing. This is what he said.
Like that. It don't take that. Kyle and talking about something happened in the city, man. Stop the cap, man. Stop the cap, man. We from the streets. We know scammers when we see them, man. We ain't lame. It sound fishy. Diddy is my hero.
Like he's literally on here suggesting that Cassie is running a scam. Like we should be past stop sleeping with your own enemy. It needs to be stop birthing your enemy. If you don't birth your enemy into existence, there is no enemy to sleep with. These bandits don't relate to you at all. They want you to be unsaved. They want you to be prey. They want to pray. They want to prey on you. And they want to be able to do so without any consequences. The problem that they have with this, based on what Slim Thug is saying, the issue that he has with this is that there's some accountability going towards Black men. That's what he has a problem with. Now, is he going to take that up with white men? No, but he'll get in the video and call you bitter scammers. He'll get in a video and say he don't believe you and that P. Diddy and them are his heroes, because he didn't say my hero. He said heroes. Then he tried to play it off as if he's not including Diddy in this. He is. He sees Cassie as someone who's going against a man he admires. And this is what they do. They admire the most degenerate predators in the community, and they don't want you to say nothing about it. And since he can't come on here and drag white men who are giving them the consequences, he'll come up here and drag you. This is why they keep saying Black women using the system against Black men. Black women are the greatest tool that white supremacy, mind you, Black men are the greatest tool that white supremacy uses against other Black men. But they'll come on here and shame you, though. They'll come on here and create a culture where you feel like you can't speak up against them. Yeah, I'm not gonna do call-ins for this one. I'm gonna do a live stream like towards the middle of the week. I'm gonna do a live stream and then we can do some call-ins then. Because I'm actually about to get off of here soon because I got a bunch of stuff I need to do. There's birthdays coming up, family dinners that we about to be doing. So I got a lot of stuff to prepare for. But I'm gonna try to do a live stream towards the midweek. In between some content, because I am going to be putting out content, but I want to do a live stream in the middle of the week and then throw the link so people can come up and talk. But usually on these type live streams where I'm talking about specific topics, these live streams generally are not call-in because I'm trying to cover some topics. And I wanted to cover this. I'm already over my time. I meant to get off of here at 4:30 at the latest, but it looks like I'm gonna go into 5 o'clock because I want to talk about Paula Jai Perker. Yeah, so I want to get into that, but let me try to listen to let me get out of this because y'all saw what he said. He got dragged because of it. So after he made this live stream, and I'm not gonna listen to parts where he's sitting up here trying to act like he ain't defending Diddy when he is. He's absolutely defending Diddy. He can try to throw Bill Cosby in there as much as he wants to try to make it seem like he's just talking about successful Black men in general. It's like, you a damn lie. You wouldn't be up here saying nothing if Diddy's situation, if Diddy wouldn't have settled that lawsuit. You would have been just as quiet as every other bandit. You just wanted to wait to see if he was going to pay something out so you can spin this narrative of women sitting up here because they're bitter, because the man is having sex with other women, because somebody in their ear and told them to do it, or because they scammers. You took your opportunity to demean Black women's image. That's what you wanted to do. So now he getting dragged. This one person said this man got his cousin pregnant on purpose. Nothing that he says is legitimate or valid. Degeneracy and predation is on a world stage, but we act like we don't see it. Diddy ain't the first and he won't be the last. He ain't the first, he won't be the last. Neither is Bill Cosby. The reason this happens regularly with Black men is not because anybody is targeting them, is because this is what they do. They want to sit there and talk about men of no color and deflect and try to make men of no color a scapegoat. Oh, they lying. Oh, this is propaganda. Oh, it's white supremacy. Oh, if they just gave us some money, then we wouldn't be doing this. Diddy is a billionaire preying on the community. Bill Cosby, very wealthy, didn't do anything about his degeneracy, only enabled him to fall deeper into it until men of no color had to come check his behavior. Yeah, he does. He looked like the troll under the bridge, right? Like, where are the 3 billy goats? Like, that's what I want to know. Did you eat the 3 billy goats? Since that was the goal of the troll under the bridge? Because he is kind of looking like the troll under the bridge. I want to know where them billy goats at. That's who I want to talk to. I want to hear from the billy goats because you were probably praying on them. So the girls are fighting, says Slim Thug says he doesn't agree with women suing their abusers if they don't speak up when it happens. It should be a time limit. And this is why I say they're barely literate and remedial. There is a time limit, dummy. Because of the amount of men who engage in this predatory behavior, laws in some states have been changed, but there is a statute of limitation. He ain't being criminally prosecuted because 5 years passed. 5 years in most states, unless they changed them, which some of them did recently, but 5 years is the statute of limitation on SA. So he's dumb, don't even know what he's talking about. They never know what they're talking about. It should be a limit. Yeah, there is. But in New York, they said they introduced another law that gives these abuse victims a means and a way to sue their abuser since they can't put criminal charges on them. If there wasn't a time limit, P. Diddy would be in prison. We would be looking at him getting arrested right now. The reason he's not being arrested is because there is a time limit. It is 5 years. And this is why I'm telling you, they don't need to know nothing. They don't feel like they need to know nothing. They know that the victim is a Black woman, so they know whoever the Black man is, he innocent. That's all they need to know. They only need to know who's making the claims and who the claim is being made against. Slim Thug wouldn't even be commenting on this if this was a white man that Cassie was outing. If this was a white man and not Diddy, I bet you Slim Thug would keep his trollish mouth shut. I bet you that. Talking about it should be a time limit. You should go educate yourself before you speak on things that you know nothing about. Obviously, there is. It's called a statute of limitation, not a time limit, genius, and it's 5 years. California changed their law, though, so it ain't 5 years. They changed theirs. I think California made theirs 10 years now or something. I don't know. If anybody is in California, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know California changed their statute of limitations. I know they did. And I think they did with Bill Cosby, actually. Look, this person said not only are they cousins, they tried to act like they didn't know they was cousins. They're my cousins, so I know. Another person said, all Slim Thug said was, I've done some wicked shit before, and all this coming back to get your abuser stuff is just going to give my victims the balls to come after me. Basically. Black men want to use public shaming to create a culture where Black women don't out them for their degeneracy, and we already have that culture. We literally already have that culture. I don't consider Cassie a part of the Black culture because her mama ain't Black, therefore she grew up separated from the Black community. You can best believe that. The only way I'm going to look at a biracial as being a part of the community is if she had a Black mother, because Black women keep their kids in the community. They should take them out, but usually Black women keep their kids in the Black community because they want them to have a Black identity. Bandits is the exact opposite. They want their kids to identify as white and look as white as possible. This one says, so Slim Thug cheated on LaToya Luckett with his cousin and got her pregnant. Look, saying this bandit cheated on, had sex with his cousin ain't gonna make Black women see him as degenerate. It's just not. It's not. This person said they need to keep an eye on Slim Thug. That ninja has some skeletons in his closet with the way he talking about Cassie. All of them do. You think Jay-Z don't got no skeletons in his closet just because he married to Beyonce? Jay-Z's skeletons probably look a lot like P. Diddy's. If I had to guess, I would say Jay-Z's skeletons probably look a lot like P. Diddy's. Jay-Z just has more power to conceal these things, but some of his degeneracies slip through. Wasn't Beyonce close to the age of Cassie when she met Jay-Z? And wasn't Jay-Z closer to the age of Diddy when he got with Beyonce? The reason why nobody cares is because it looks cute, because they're married, because they have children. So Jay-Z was able to distract everybody from his potential predation by marrying Beyonce and creating children with him. So now he's couple goals. So now Jay-Z is couple goals because he's tied to Beyonce. So ain't nobody thinking at all about his predation. If P. Diddy would have said that, if P. Diddy would have did the same thing, do you think his predation would have been hidden? Probably. If Diddy would have married Jennifer Lopez and had a family with her, sustained a family with her, nobody would even be listening. Like, nobody would care about anything P. Diddy did. Nobody would care. If he would have married Jennifer Lopez, because back when he was with Jennifer Lopez, y'all were saying Jennifer Lopez was Black, she's Afro-Hispanic, she's an Afro-Latina. So Black women had already accepted Jennifer Lopez as Black. So if Diddy would have married her and had kids with her, and they were able to say this is couple goals, much like y'all did with Jay-Z, getting with Jeannie, getting with Jeannie Mai, all of a sudden, because Jeezy got with Jeannie Mai, everybody forgot that he had 3 baby mamas and was a beating on his son. And supposedly set up Gucci Mane to be toe tagged. Everybody forgot about that when Jeezy decided to marry Miss My Dark Meat on the side and create a biracial Asian kid with her. Then Jeezy wasn't that snowman thug. Now he's a family man. Oh, he need his wife by his side. Oh, he's upgrading. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez was like, I'm getting out of there. Yes, back in the day when Jennifer Lopez was dating P. Diddy and she was working with Ja Rule and Jenny from the Block. Oh yeah, absolutely. She was even saying the N-word. And getting paid and getting the pass. And then she said she Afro-Latina, she Jenny from the Block. So the way that Black men escape being seen as predators for the ones who are, the way that they escape that image is to get married and have a kid. Because Jeezy ain't even been married for about two minutes, already turned his Asian preference into a baby mama, but he still was able to change his image towards Black women by marrying Miss I like my dark meat on the side, white men keep me lean and mean. Listen, y'all should be able to look at Cassie's children and tell the amount of Black that she has in her. Y'all should be able to look at Cassie's children with this white man, and that should tell you her proximity to white. She already has more of a proximity to white if she's creating white, blonde hair, blue-eyed children with her husband. So I don't know why anybody will label Cassie Black when it's clear that she's not. Because she over there creating whole white kids with her white husband. Am I blaming her? No. But when you think about Black, look at her children. Look at her children. Those children are white. And that's because Cassie is mostly white. Because Mexican is, quite frankly, not a race. And it was always in this country classified as white. So I don't know why y'all keep saying Mexican as if it's separate from white. In fact, when they classified Mexicans as white, they said it is because of their white Spanish heritage. So they're telling you we consider Mexicans to be white because of their white lineage, because they are white. So why do y'all keep talking about Mexican as if number one, it's a race when it's not, and number two, if it's ever been classified as anything other than white? In this country, the United States, Mexican is white. And I want y'all to look it up. It's classified as white. and it's been classified as white all the way, go back to anti-miscegenation laws when a Black man tried to marry a so-called Mexican woman in California, and they said, no, she's white. You're not marrying her. Filipino is not a race. Filipino is not a race. So we're not about to jump on here and go over the difference between race and ethnicity, because I'm gonna get frustrated, because I know everybody in here is grown. And I know most of the people in here are past the age where you would have graduated from college. That I do know. That I do know, is that nearly everybody in here is probably past college graduation age. So we're not about to get into this discussion about race versus ethnicity with people who I know are at the age where they should have graduated college. We're not gonna do that. Mexican is not a race. Filipino is not a race. So we're not gonna play this game. We can look at Cassie's children, and we can make conclusions about her genetic makeup from there. Even if he's from the Philippines, what does that mean? In terms of his race, when you say her father is from the Philippines, in terms of race, what does that mean? What are you trying to tell me by saying that he's from the Philippines? Racially, what are you trying to tell me? You said he is a Filipino. Okay, so what are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me he's not white when you say he's a Filipino? Because if you're trying to tell me that because he's from the Philippines, he's not white, you would be incorrect. Because I'm pretty sure there was quite a few of white people birthed in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of white Filipinos. I'm positive that they are. Sexual colonization was everything. It was everywhere. It was heavy in Asia, the Philippines included. So what are you trying to tell? You're trying to tell me he's not white? You can't tell me that a person is not white by saying he's from the Philippines, because now you're trying to suggest that white people don't exist in the Philippines, that sexual colonization didn't happen in the Philippines. You're trying to tell me that by saying he's not white, and you're not correct. You're incorrect. Just because he's from the Philippines does not mean he's not white. And y'all really need to understand that. Like, y'all really need to understand that. Sexual colonization happened everywhere. It was very heavy in Asia. Very heavy in Asia. Y'all need to do some research to see the path of white semen going all the way up and through Asia. Yeah, white sexual colonization was in Asia just as much as it was in South America. You're not going to sit here and say, well, he's from the Philippines, so he's not white. You just sound ignorant. I'm not trying to insult you, by the way. I'm not. I'm in no way trying to insult or shame you. I'm not. But we have to stop thinking that because someone is from Asia or somewhere within there, the Philippines, Japan, China, whatever, Cambodia, stop acting like that is synonymous with non-white. It's not. Sexual colonization happened everywhere. If it weren't for sexual colonization, you would see a bunch of brown-skinned people everywhere. The reason you see mixed, the reason you see white Asians is because of sexual colonization. I'm not saying that you're ignorant, Cammie. I want you to know I'm not saying that you're ignorant. I'm making it as a general statement for anybody. I'm not saying that you're ignorant. I'm not saying it at all. But if you wanted to tell me that he wasn't white, you could have just said, well, I saw his picture. You didn't have to tell me that he was from the Philippines. Him being from the Philippines doesn't mean that he's not white. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. I'm just saying that you can't tell me that he's not white by telling me he's from the Philippines. There are tons of white people in the Philippines. There are white Filipinos. In fact, they put the white Filipinos at the forefront of the Filipino image. They do not parade around the dark Filipinos, the ones that are called black. They don't parade around as the face of the Philippines. They don't. They put the white ones, just like Japan, just like China. They're not going to show you their dark-skinned Japanese or dark-skinned Chinese. They're going to parade around a pasty white face. That's what they're going to do. But Slim Thug, because he been getting dragged, because he was getting dragged all over the internet, he decided to come out and make a statement. We gonna go over his statement really quickly, then we get into apologize, Parker, because I got to get off of here. I didn't mean to be on here that long. I always stay on here way longer than I intend to. I do notice that too. Let's listen to what he's saying.
That was my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry we don't agree on everything. I can still take you to Starbucks and buy you a drink, and we can sit down and chop it up. Like, I don't hate nobody. I don't even hate Cash. It was just my opinion. I ain't wanted to go worldwide. I don't do this to ever be on social media other pages. I be talking to y'all, my people. Yeah, you know, so, you know what I'm saying? I just on here every single day. I do this every single day. I just give y'all my opinion. That's it. I don't make that. I'm just speaking from, you know, my seeing life, seeing what happened.
But here's the thing. He's telling you, he's trying to tell you this is just my opinion. As if your opinion and your perspective on sexual assault and a woman's ability to make a claim on it doesn't have something to do with your character and who you are as a man. Stop allowing these people to come out and say, this is my preference or this is my opinion, as if it doesn't tell you something about who they are. Whoever your preference is says something about who you are. Whatever your opinion is on any given topic really tells a lot about who you are and your character, what you stand for as a person. So he can sit up here and say, oh, that was just my opinion, I'll still buy you a Starbucks. No, you're letting me know that it is okay for Black men to prey on women and that women should not be able to come out and make a claim against it because you're too ignorant to educate yourself to understand that there is a statute of limitation. And they always try to do this. It's 444, y'all. 444. If you in the South, it's 744, but it's still 444 on the West Coast. So if you see 744, it's really 444. Yep, who your preference is says a lot about who you are as a person. Okay? There's a reason why there's a saying, birds of a feather flock together. Bandits want you to think that they have these preferences and their opinions, but they don't mean nothing in terms of their character. You're showing us who you are, sir, and I believe you. I believe you. I believe the person you are telling me that you are, and you're not going to hide behind your opinion. This is who you are. This is your character. This is your belief system. There's no way I would even sit down with, be friends with, or be anywhere near a man who thinks like this, and I damn sure wouldn't procreate with him. This is how you select a mate. Listen to their mindset. Would any woman who listens to Slim Thug and what he thinks about sexual assault is a damn fool if you choose to procreate with a man like this. They telling you who they are, and we need to continue to listen. No woman should be procreating with Slim Thug. After this video, he shouldn't have no more kids. There shouldn't be a womb open to him at all. Not one, because he's already telling you who he is. He's already telling you that if he likes the man who's preying on the community, then he's against the woman who was the prey. And you can best believe that would apply to his female children if he hasn't.
End of the day, like, but if I said something wrong, yeah, say correct me, say something, tell me, I'm here. I'm not running from nobody, like, you know what I'm saying? But
we are boycotting Starbucks.
At the end of the day, we don't gotta agree on everything to have a conversation. I ain't that small-minded, you know what I'm saying? So That was my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, we don't agree on everything. I can still take you to Starbucks and buy you a drink, and we can sit down and chop it up. Like, I don't hate nobody. I don't even hate Cass. It was just my opinion. I ain't wanted to go worldwide.
Right. It was just my opinion. No, it wasn't.
Bill Cosby is not guilty of all that to me to other pages. I be talking to y'all, my people. Yeah, you know, so you know what I'm saying? I just on here every single day. I do this every single day. I just give y'all my opinion. That's it.
Yeah, so he's
make
at
that
the end of the day, he's saying he's just giving y'all his opinion, and really what he's doing is telling you about his character. That's what he's doing. He's not giving you his opinion, he's telling you who he is, and you should listen. And I feel very bad for the woman who's dumb enough to not listen to who this man is telling him that he is. He's telling you everything that he stands for. Who you support says a lot about who you are. So if he's supporting Bill Cosby, oh yeah, Starbucks is always doing something right there. Yeah, look, most of these companies are. That's what they were founded on, racism. So most of them are going to. And then if you're able to be racist toward the group of people who are not known for defending themselves, then that's exactly what you're going to do. Let's get into Paula J. Parker so I can get off of here. Okay. Because let me go back to where she first started making these dumb tweets, because I ain't got time for her. But let me get into this article about Paula J. Parker, because when it was known that she came out basically suggesting that Cassie is lying, where there's a predatory bandit, there's a Black woman to defend him. You better believe it. You better believe it. This is how they keep this degenerate, toxic community going, because they already know where there's a degenerate bandit, there's going to be a Black woman that comes out and defend them. And Paula J. Parker decided she was going to be that Black woman. She did. She said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm a pander and I'm going to defend this man. Mind you, this man who haven't helped me to transcend homelessness either. Okay, let's do this sidebar on Paula J. Parker, because when somebody sent me her information, I knew it sounded familiar to me. It just did. It sounded real familiar to me. And I was like, okay, let me look up and see if she's who I'm talking about, who I'm thinking she is. Where somebody sent me a video of her from a show talking about how she was blackballed from Hollywood, how she was homeless, living in an extended stay, all because she wanted to be with a certain bandit. Let me try to play this clip for y'all on Vlad TV. We'll see if she talks about it in there.
Consistently working, you're getting these roles, and these films are coming out and doing well. And then at one point, you stop working and you start having financial issues.
Mm-hmm.
What led up to that whole situation?
Getting married.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood it's a clique. It's a tight, set family, and you don't jump ship. It's like being in the mafia. It literally is like being in the mafia. Literally like being in the mafia, and especially Black Hollywood. You know, it's not the mafia that you know. It's the mafia you don't know. You know, the faces that you don't know. That's Hollywood, and you don't bring in outsiders. So this game, like I was trying to say, it's a family. It's a clique. It's tight knit, and you don't get out like the mafia, and you don't let outsiders in. And the person that cared the most was someone who's very powerful in the industry, and that didn't work, you know. And that's just, you know, there are stronger women than I who have gone to court, you know, like that lady who took Clint Eastwood to court, you know, after their relationship. And she won, you know, but I'm the Black girl. But I wasn't taking anyone to court because we don't do that. And we don't tell. and we suck it up, and we bide our time, and we wait for God to vindicate us.
Okay, so can you say who that was? The person who essentially is blacklisted.
There are numerous, no one in this moment, no one that I know of in this moment,
Well,
but the damage has been done.
But
you
you
know.
said there was someone very powerful in Hollywood who had a problem
Yes.
with it. Can you say who that was?
No, I don't want to.
The consequences are too big.
Okay.
I don't think it's important because I don't want to feed into what I know to be real. You know, it's hard being a Black woman and the Me Too. If you notice, from my perspective, I don't know, I'm sure there were some, but I think Lupita was one of the only ones who came out. You know, that's not a coincidence. She's African. You know, there weren't too many Black women, you know, because not only have we been taught not to snitch, you know, or kayfabe, as the rest of the world likes to call it, you know, this industry was built on incestuous practices, you know, and keeping it all.
Since she's beating around the bush, I'm going to read this article for y'all so y'all can really see what happened with her, because she's a Black male worshiper and she's suffering the consequences of being one. It says the season premiere of TV One's highly anticipated new series, Hollywood Divas, aired last night. And fans were immediately shocked to find out one of these divas, Paula J. Parker, Hustle and Flow, Friday, The Proud Family, to name a few of the movies that she was in, was homeless and living in an extended stay hotel with her son, Wonderful, and husband, Forrest. This is how much of a Black male worshiper is. She literally... Let me read the rest. Unlike many Black actresses who can't find work due to limited roles in Hollywood, Paula attributes her failing career to being blackballed. It says Paula revealed that she married an outsider. Her husband, Forrest, was a production assistant on the set of Hustle and Flow, and she says, "I just never expected it to be so harsh." What they're not telling is in her opening for, you know, the show, the Hollywood Divas, she said that they wanted her to marry somebody else. They had a man that they wanted her to marry. I'm sure that man wasn't a bum. I'm sure that man had some money. I'm sure that man wouldn't have had her living in the extended stay. Okay? It says while we don't know the full story, we'll stay tuned to find out. Something isn't quite adding up. Instead of spending money on an extended stay hotel, why not a cheap apartment? Secondly, why wasn't Forrest at work, or are we reaching? No, these are literally valid questions. The reason why she said that she was homeless in her actual opening is because she wanted to marry a bandit who had nothing to offer her. She wanted to build up a bum. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to take a bandit from off the side of MLK and 3rd and dust him off and turn him into a husband. And they told her, don't do that. They probably told her, this is not a good look for your image. They probably told her, this is the man that you should marry instead. And she wanted to slum. So therefore she got blackballed, or so she said. She said she got blackballed for marrying this bum instead of who they told her to marry. That's what she means when it's cliquish. That's what she wanted to build up a bum. So now it doesn't surprise me, because my spidey senses was kind of going off anyway. I was just like, okay, this sounds real familiar. And this is the lady that somebody whose video they sent me, where she was sitting there talking about how she lived in an extended stay with her husband, down and out, ain't requiring him to be a provider. She over here thinking about who she loved instead of who was going to provide for her. Now she's broke. And now she over here probably trying to get a viral moment by sitting up here talking about Cassie. So this person said, what's wrong with you? Because she had been on here defending this. And she responded and said, did you read that thing? It sounded like something out of a Penny Dreadful. I'm tired of women making poor choices that affect us all, setting a precedent that leaves us vulnerable. 10 years from now, some dude says your lack of affection gave him PTSD. Every absent dad isn't by choice. She came on here to defend the degeneracy of these bandits in the community. I hope y'all see that with the first message that she put out. I want to know what's wrong with her too. I wish I could get on here and tell this chick that what's wrong with her is that she's the black male worshiper. Because it's like, how you go take this Kathy situation and defend bandits? This is why I said they continue to abandon their children. They continue to abandon their children because even the women who are suffering as a result of them abandoning their children ain't go hold them accountable. And that's why she is in here saying every absent dad isn't by choice. Most of them are by choice, though. And the ones who ain't absent by choice are dead. Because even if you committed a crime, you chose to do that. You knew you had kids. You knew you could go to jail. So therefore you chose to be absent. The only men who are not choosing to be absent are the ones who are no longer living and breathing. They ain't got a choice. And it depends on how they got to the realm of the unliving. Because if you was out there shooting up and terrorizing the community, then you chose that too. She then said, maybe I'm jaded because I'm here. I live it and see it every day. The pretty ones with little talent take what they want while the rest of us depend on God. This is a bitter hater. This is a bitter old hater. She's mad at Cassie because Cassie was young and pretty with very little talent, but still landed a billionaire. And you send your dumb ass in an extended stay broke because of a broke bandit that you chose to marry at your old age. And now you want to hate on Cassie, though. I should have knew this was going to piss me off. I don't want to drag her, y'all, because this video is still on YouTube. Because you have to go live from YouTube. I don't want to drag her, but it's really hard. The Bible says bribery is okay in business. Give a little to get ahead. So she did. He should have took the deal. This is a very disgusting and dangerous person. I'm actually glad she doesn't have the influence of being popular in Hollywood. I'm glad she don't have that influence. This is an old, bitter mammy. That is what she is. For the sake of this discussion, now y'all know I don't do the whole mammy thing. It's giving mammy. It's giving mammy for some bandits. She then says, I think y'all just don't like him, but he didn't invent the game. He just plays it. Hubby thinks I don't like her, but that's not true. So your own broke, dusty husband know you a hating ass bitch, basically. So basically your husband is calling you a whack ass, old, washed up ass, hating ass bitch. Basically, that's what her husband is calling her. When she says, hubby thinks I don't like her, hubby thinks you a hater. Then she goes, I don't like chicks that take the easy route and get mad when it doesn't pan out. What she really means is, I don't like chicks who are younger and prettier than me and don't got to do what I got to do to get ahead. She's a hater. Then she says, God bless the child who's got his own. But yes, I believe she deserves compensation. It was like a marriage, and she became accustomed to the lifestyle. And after all that stuff, she wrote she did. I don't think he was ever really going to marry her ill. You ain't flexing on marriage when you like broke and dusty and homeless in an extended stay and your husband can't get you out of, really? Really? This is her thought process. She's no different than a bandit. She's no different than a bandit. She's going to say, and after all that stuff she wrote she did, I don't think he was ever really going to marry her. He wouldn't have married her anyway. He wouldn't have married her anyway. They don't value marriage. He wasn't in the relationship to marry her. He was in the relationship to use her and exploit her, and that's exactly what he did. He preyed on her because of the naivete and lack of experience that comes with being 19. You focused on how she looked because you don't look how she looks. You don't have the looks and never did, really. If we go look at your older pictures of your pictures when you were in your prime, you never had the looks that Cassie did. So you would have never got as far as she was unless you sucked some dick anyway. You would have always had to work hard because you don't got the pretty privilege that Cassie got and you had. Just an old hater. Then she says, oh, that's right. I forgot y'all get caught up in beautiful. You see a pretty little fawn and think Bambi is. I'm really trying, y'all, but this is I don't like haters. I don't like old haters. I don't like old haters at all. She keeps mentioning this woman's look. She's hating on her. She don't care about the abuse of this other woman because this woman is young and in her prime and pretty, and you ain't. You laid up in an extended stay with your old, broke, busted, dusty bandit that you should have left on the corner of MLK, but because you desperate, you now want to come up here and flex on a homeless marriage? This is a hater. You see a pretty little fawn and think Bambi instead of a baby demon. Cassie is a baby demon? I want y'all to look at this is the problem. This is the problem with the women in the community. Then he comes on here and say, I love that you are not afraid to go against popular opinion and speak how you see things. Truly admirable. Look, none other than a bandit. Of course, a bandit is going, of course, a bandit caught up probably in his own predation. Of course, he's going to co-sign her because these are the women who literally help to brainwash and instill young Black girls into Black male worship. Mad because she's prettier than you. Then she says hashtag freaky being the operative word. So she's online with Slim Thug. You was a freak. You participated in that. You was running a scam, and now you mad. That's her attitude. Then she's saying, I'm not saying it didn't happen. Yeah, you are saying it didn't happen. I'm saying she wasn't complaining about being his quote unquote woman and the fame that came with it. What goes on between man and woman is just that. At what point does pleasing your quote unquote man become all this? Only chicks dating freaky millionaires. This is, I hope she ain't got like, Lord. Let me look after this to see if she got any daughters. Because if she got it, I'd feel bad for her daughters. I feel bad for her daughters. If she got them, I'm about to look. Because no, ain't no way. If she got a daughter, like for real, no, she just got a son. I think she do. Let me see if she got, how many kids she got. Her Wikipedia should tell us if how many kids she got. She's been in a lot of stuff though. No, she just got a son. Okay, good. She got one kid that's a son. She can worship the hell out of him. She can turn him into a psychotic bandit. And based on her mindset, she gonna do just that. Like, Gary, watch her son when he gets older. Watch out in the news for her son when he get older, because you will see the effects of having this type of mother. Very dangerous person. She's relating all of this abuse to you're pleasing your man. This is that old school, you gotta learn your man to earn your man. You don't earn your man by not going through some trials. That's the mindset that she have. That old, washed up, dusty, I'ma suffer for my man, my Black man, my man, I'm married, my man. You ain't flexing on your homeless husband, lady. Then she goes, hashtag freaky being the operative word. All couples should be evenly yoked, and that includes sexually. Didn't I tell y'all to watch out for those Christian Black women that recommends that girls maintain their virginity for a promiscuous bandit? The ones who say she should have kept her legs closed. These are haters. They're haters because they don't have the desirability that you do. Just sitting up here being a hating ass bitch thinking it's okay because you hashtag freaky. All couples should be evenly yoked, and that includes sexually. Should have took the deal. Wasn't it James who tried to tell y'all it's cheaper to keep her? This is disgusting. I'm trying so hard to see the victim here, but do sex slaves usually get to pick their sex partner in 5-star hotels? You wouldn't know nothing about a 5-star hotel because you in an extended stay with your broke, dusty husband. So you shouldn't even be mentioning 5-star hotels. When's the last time you saw one, Paula? We know your extended stay ain't no 5-star hotel. Then another bandit named Twinzo come on here and reply to her saying everybody different and all situation is not the same. Some are stronger than other. Here she go adding him. I wish someone would have said that to the 3-year-old me that couldn't say no. So because you couldn't say no, you don't have empathy for the next woman who was abused. And this is an abuse victim. But by 19, we're all strong enough to make choices that affect the rest of our lives. Really, a 3-year-old is strong enough to make a choice that affects their life. Really. That's why they need parental guidance. Because they will make dumb decisions, even at 3, like sticking a fork in a light socket. That's you being strong enough to make a choice that affects the rest of your life if you electrocute yourself and get harmed from that. But she don't have any sympathy for the next woman. She's bitter and old and unattractive and living in an extended stay with her bummy husband, but she still thinks she can flex. Oh, I knew he wouldn't marry her. If you can't say no, you're not built for it. Take the midnight train now before you get yourself in trouble. Just disgusting. This is one of those chicks who reminds me of one of those women who will be grooming little girls for predatory men and then calling them fast. And then like, well, you fast. Well, she was fast anyway. Then she says, I'm just a child of the 80s. I believe hashtag Miss Nancy when she said, just say no. Don't think it's lost on me that she's a Christian. It ain't lost on me that she is a Christian, and it shouldn't be lost on you either. Then she says, as an ex-A victor, one would think I get it, but I don't. I was a child looking for nothing from anyone, but y'all call us hashtag thirsty for protecting what's mine, but it ain't thirsty when you forget to protect your behind. This is a Christian woman. She keeps referencing this Bible. She wants you to know that she's a Christian. Am I surprised that she's a Christian? No, I would be more surprised if she weren't. Then she says, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. I used to be 19 and I was in the industry and I was quite capable of saying no. You didn't have the options though, because you weren't as pretty as Cassie at 19. And we know that because you keep mentioning her looks, you keep hating on her. You're between a rock and a hard place in this industry. You suffer no matter your choices. So why not choose hashtag God? It worked for hashtag Jesus. Another demonic Christian. No surprise there. No surprise there. I don't know what Bible you're reading, but if it's the one that has Jesus getting arrested and a young boy running out of his tent in a lion's cloth, never mind. That's all Bibles. I guess they left that little tidbit up to interpretation. This is a wicked, bitter, old Christian devil who wants to sit up here and can't even though she went through the same thing as 3, she can't see Cassie as the victim because Cassie's too pretty. To her, Cassie's too pretty, so she couldn't be a victim. Surely she had to be just doing this because she wanted to make her man happy, knowing he still wasn't gonna marry her. She wants y'all to know that even though Cassie is pretty, ain't no man gonna marry her, but she got a homeless husband though. At least she got the ring. This is an old female bandit, a very old female bandit, hating on a pretty young girl who was preyed on by a man who had resources and power. Let me find Paula Jai Parker as a 19-year-old. I want to see. Because if you was in the industry, then there's literally some image of you being younger. I guarantee you still was never. Let's look at this one. This is a headshot from Paula Jai Parker. Pretty, but still not pretty like Cassie. This was her. This is her headshot in there. Still not as pretty as Cassie, though. I think she was pretty here. I do. I think she was pretty when she was younger. She wasn't pretty as Cassie, though. So even with her looking like this, and this is one of her best headshots, you see the other ones. Even when she's at her best, she's still not pretty as Cassie. She still wouldn't attract what Cassie could attract. Wasn't no billionaire want to be anywhere affiliated with you, and even to get close, you would have had to do something strange for some change. And you would have been doing it too. She's pretty. She is very pretty here, but she's not Cassie. Like she just ain't pretty as Cassie. She's not. I mean, we can pull up the difference. There's no comparison, though. That's not to say that Paula wasn't pretty when she was younger. She wasn't pretty as Cassie. This is when Cassie first came out with her song. The one album that she had. She still wasn't as pretty as Cassie. She still wasn't. Yeah, it's nobody's saying that when Paula was younger, she was ugly. That's not saying that she's ugly. No one said that she's ugly. I said she's not pretty as Cassie, and she's not. She's not pretty as Cassie, and she was never pretty as Cassie. And you can best believe Cassie's looks is a problem for her. That's why she continues to mention it. That's why she continues to mention how Cassie looks, is because she knows that Cassie looks better than her. It just is what it is. Like, she's not, yeah, okay, fine. She is, nobody is going to say she wasn't pretty. Nobody would say she wasn't. I looked at the same picture that y'all saw. Obviously, and she was pretty, but still at her best, which is her headshot, she still wasn't as pretty as Cassie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, that she wasn't as pretty. Yeah, Cassie is still pretty without the makeup. She is. She is. And she had the, and it's not that, and the thing is, Cassie doesn't look racially ambiguous. You can actually tell the black features that are coming out of Cassie. You can tell she has black in her. You can tell. You can tell she do. Her nose is definitely like a black person, and so is her lips. Like, you can't, there's no way you can look at Cassie and say that she's not part black. You can't. But I know an old washed up hater when I hear one. She was a hater. It just is what it is. She was a hater. And you can literally look at younger pictures of Cassie and see the innocence in her eyes. You don't see innocence in her eyes anymore. There's no innocence in Cassie's eyes anymore. And you can start seeing that. You can progressively see it in her pictures when she's with Diddy. You can see it. There was no more, he stripped her of any innocence that she had. You can look at, like, I want y'all, let me share the screen. I want y'all to look into the eyes of these two different people here. Right here, very innocent eyes. A lot of light innocence. Look at her in this picture. In this picture, not the same eyes as the girl right here. The eyes are saying something very, very different. Very different. Her eyes are saying very different. This is a woman who been through it. You can see in her eyes she been through it. Right here, raw innocence. Innocence, excitement in her eyes. Innocence in there and excitement. This, no. No. Like two different, the effects are very different. They say the eyes are the windows of the soul. Okay? You can tell a lot by looking into somebody's eyes, and you can tell that the innocence was completely gone. Completely gone. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to get off of here. Yeah, you can definitely tell they're the difference. It just is. But I'm about to get off of here because I've already been on here much longer. Meant to be, I'm an hour past, like an hour and 17 minutes past, so I really do have to go. But like I said, I'm still gonna get some regular content. I just wanted to do this pop-up live stream. I really didn't want to. Because I wanted to talk about like how ridiculous this is. If y'all couldn't tell, that was my first time reading Paula J. Parker's tweets, and I like to wait because I like to give y'all my raw reaction. So that was my raw reaction. I love you, B. I'm about to call you in a little bit. Anyway, all right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. I'm about to jump off of here. I gotta go get some laundry done and stuff like that. So for the people who missed it, they can watch the playback. But yeah, I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later. Bye.